Well, hello there. Have you ever wondered how to begin melody writing in a contrasting period? Ooh, this could be a good one. How to move forwards and move towards the cadence at the phrase endings and connect the dots to complete a contrasting period. Well, wonder no more. I'm Gloria St. Germain from Ultimate Music Theory. And one of the concepts that students often struggle with is just where to begin. So today you're going to learn the 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, to writing a contrasting period melody in a major key. And this is for level 8 music theory. So level 8. Now, in the Advanced Rudiments workbook, you were learning how to write and identify cadences for perfect or authentic, imperfect or half cadences, and plagal cadences to complete a phrase ending. So now in level 8, in the supplemental workbook, you're going to learn how to use those cadences to help you compose a melody to create a contrasting period. Are you ready? Okay, good. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what steps to take, and you'll learn the difference between phrases when identifying phrase A, A1, or B. So let's start our composing. Now, when composing a consequent, which is the answer phrase, to an antecedent, which is the question phrase, in a contrasting period, use a logical harmonic progression, melodic figurations, and cadence phrase endings. So here's how it works. So step 1, the big reveal, outline. Okay, so here in the key of C major with chords 1, so 1 is C, E, G, 4, F, A, C, and 5, G, B, D, we outline the melody by choosing one chord tone for the beginning of each beat or new chord. So here we've outlined the chords for 1, and then the F is 4, E is 1, and then 5. So that's the first 4-measure phrase, and we're ending with a half cadence. Okay, so far so good. Great. Then we outlined the melody chords as 1 for our C chord, 5, 1, and then our 5, 1, because we want to end with an authentic cadence. So now we've kind of mapped out the harmonic progression, and that makes it easy, right? I see some thumbs up coming in here. Yay. So step 2, so this is the big one. Now, step 2, it's time to connect the dots, as they say. And when we connect the dots, you can use 8th notes, 16th notes, quarter notes, and so on. Now, remember, we want to use that KISS method. Keep it super simple. And use mostly stepwise motion and delete, but only between chord tones. And we want to move directly towards a goal. And that is your cadence resolution. So let's check it out. In the first measure, we are using neighbor tones. We're just moving from a neighbor tone back up to a chord tone. And here we are using passing notes, moving from one chord tone to the next chord tone. And finally, we are using passing tones and neighbor tones and passing tones as we move towards our unstable scale degree 2. And that's ending our first phrase, ending on an unstable scale degree 2. So now we've completed our first 4-measure phrase. That's the question phrase, ending with a half cadence. And the first phrase is called phrase A. Okay, so that's phrase A. Now, next, we're going to connect the chord tones in the second 4-measure phrase. Now, this is called the answer phrase. So question, we ended on an unstable scale degree, kind of open, leaving it on a scale degree 2. They is supertonic. And then we're moving now into our next 4-measure phrase. So now here we're going to move again by neighbor tone and between chord tones in a different direction. And this time, we're going to use variations in our melodic pattern and also in our rhythmic pattern. And when we do that, it creates interest. It's going to make it a little more fun to hear something different, right? So now we notice that we're leading to the final authentic cadence. And here we're moving by step from the unstable scale degree 7 up to the stable scale degree 1 or 8, right? It's just the upper tonic. So now that we have our second phrase, we see that we've used passing neighbor tones, and we've used passing tones, and we notice that we've used a different melodic pattern. Here we were moving by step up, and here we've moved down. We're also using a little different direction as we're going, one moving down, the other one moving up, passing tones, and so on. We see that we've used a little bit of the concept of the repeated rhythmic pattern just to kind of keep the flow going so that we're being consistent. When you're melody writing in level 8, you need to use these 3 steps because this is what makes it super simple. So if you're just starting level 8 melody writing in a contrasting period and you're like, what is that? We just want to keep it super simple and use these steps, right? So step 1, we outline 1, 4, and 5, and we use just our chord tones on the first beat in each measure. And remember to always think that we want to resolve our cadence points. Step 2 was to connect using neighbor tones or using passing notes, passing tones, just moving by step. We just want to keep it super simple. And finally, the second phrase is called phrase B. Okay, so what? Why is that? What's phrase B? Well, in level 7, you learned about melody writing in a parallel period. And in a parallel period, the first 4-measure phrase A and the second 4-measure phrase is called A1. And it's because that within a parallel or the same melodic material, they are used to create similar phrases. So here in level 8, you're learning about melody writing in a contrasting period because this is phrase A, and we can clearly see that although the rhythmic pattern may be the same, the melodic pattern is different. And so this would be A and this would be B. If you are going to have A and A1, then these 2 measures will be copied exactly into measures 5 and 6, right? So if 1 and 2 are identical in measures 5 and 6, then this would be A and this would be A1. And we'd have just some variation in the last 2 measures of each phrase. Does that make sense? Okay, good. And finally, step number 3. The StepStone method. Yes, Justin, you are right. And thanks for joining me live today. Good morning, Miss Lisa and Brenda, all the way from Alberta. That's the great thing about doing these videos and when we're doing them live is that we just get to connect with teachers. And I love to hear, like, what are the things that I can help you with? Because sometimes it's overwhelming if we haven't taught melody writing before, or a lot of the concepts that are introduced in the RCM supplemental or the new requirements for the exams. We just kind of don't know where to start. So I'm here to help you with that. So now step number 3. Are you ready? This is a fun one. Oh, step number 3, I did the reveal, is play. We've got to have some fun, right? That's why we're melody writing, not just to write it in your music theory book, but to actually explore, imagine, compose, and explore melody writing. So step number 3 is sing or play your melody, your composition. And I want you to listen really critically and revising any parts that don't sound pleasing to the ear or that don't resolve to the cadence. And remember, we just want to use that KISS method. We just want to keep it super simple. Now, once you complete your melody writing, so this is your level 8 workbook, right? So that's the big guy. And once you complete your level 8 workbook and go through all of the steps, just as they're mapped out there for you, make sure that you look inside the answer book. So inside the answer book, you're going to see one example of a melody written in a contrasting period. And oftentimes when I'm doing melody writing with my students, I actually just hand them my answer book and say, well, take a look inside because it will give you some ideas as to what the melody will look like. And then there's a few things you can do. You can either play it just freely on your sort of imaginary keyboard using your whiteboard, of course, or you can actually go to the piano and play it so that you can actually hear what it sounds like, because it's very important to develop inner hearing, right? We want to develop our inner ear so that we can hear what we see, right? It's kind of an interesting concept. Can you hear this in your head? I can, but it's not just come like that. I've practiced playing this on my imaginary keyboard, and then I kind of developed the sound. So it's a great way to practice this. Now, another thing is, and I'm going to give you a little bonus tip here, is when you're first doing melody writing, use your Ultimate Music Theory whiteboards for a couple of reasons. One, because it's easy to erase. You can just kind of map it out, think about it, play it on the keyboard, maybe make some changes. And the other thing is that you can do variations of it. So you might want to write out your composition on the first staff here, and you might go, I'm going to do another one. And so you can start again and then just compare the two, because there's no real, well, I mean, there's right and wrong, but basically it's your concept, it's your ideas, and you just need to make sure that you're going to resolve on a half cadence or on an authentic cadence, right? Because that's what the contrasting period is. And remember, different melodic lines, right? We want to be moving in different directions, have some variation in there, and have some fun. So yay, those are your 3 tips for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, give me a thumbs up, comment, and share, and make sure to subscribe to our Ultimate Music Theory YouTube channel and our Ultimate Music Theory Facebook group, because we release new videos every week. So happy melody writing in your Ultimate Music Theory Level 8, and I have a little challenge for you. We also have little composer certificates. So take the challenge, write out your melody, just either share it with us on Facebook or email it to us, and we will send you a composer's certificate. So I can't wait to see what you come up with. So Level 8 supplemental workbook, and don't forget, grab your answer book too, where you're going to see that one possible answer. So imagine, compose, and explore melody writing. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Oh, and I must say hello to Valerie, all the way from Norway. Oh, you know, just before I say bye, I do want to say I'm so excited that we actually now have Ultimate Music Theory certified teachers in South Africa, in Norway, so yay, Valerie, in Australia, the UK, Hong Kong, obviously the USA and Canada, and we're continue to grow. And it is so awesome that we're connecting just globally and sharing our passion of teaching music theory and connecting in a profound way. You know, I also do a lot of interviews with industry professionals, and I learn so much from sharing information and seeing how we learn differently. And recently I did an interview with Gigi Yu, who is actually Cody Lee, who you may have heard. He's autistic, he's blind, but he's also a savant, and how he learns differently. And as a teacher myself, I find it so interesting when I have that student that comes in and she, you know, maybe has learning challenges, or maybe she's brilliant, or maybe she's visual, auditory, or kinesthetic learner. And it is a personal challenge for me to say, how can I teach most effectively so that this student will excel? And when I see some of my students, such as Connor Dara, who has, as I would say, surpassed the teacher, many of my students have gone on to become concert pianists and composers, and I'm in awe of their accomplishments. So it's always the greatest, I think, sort of reward that a teacher can have, is when your students actually go beyond your wildest dreams and really enjoy their music. And that's really why we do what we do, right? So anyway, thanks for joining me. Hey, Charlene, just in the right time I needed this. And there's Justin. Okay, so Justin Peterson, I have to give a little shout out to Justin, who just completed his Ultimate Music Theory certification course. Give him a round of applause. Make sure you give him a little thumbs up, because it's a lot of work. And I think one of the things that I love to do is I love to be your accountability partner. And so does Sheila McKibben-Uren. She's the examiner for the Ultimate Music Theory certification course. And she's here for you. If you have any questions or anything as you're going through your certification course, just reach out to Sheila, because she's there for you. And as a young teacher, I was, you know, really confused when it came to music theory. I didn't feel really confident teaching it, didn't really know what I was doing. And I really had 2 choices, which is what you have. One, you can just send your students somewhere else because you're not confident teaching it, or you don't even want to teach it. And usually it's because we don't feel like we know what we're talking about. Or two, you can start with your own professional development, which is why I created the Ultimate Music Theory Certification course. I want to help you succeed. I want to help you and give you the tools for all those things that will be positive in your teaching, helping you with neuro-linguistic programming, NLP techniques, and helping you grow as a musician, as an educator, and ultimately how you can serve your students, because those are the future teachers. So we want to give them a solid foundation so they'll have a lot of fun. So I hope this has served you well. I'm excited to hear your composition. Don't forget about the challenge. I'm looking forward to, I love a challenge. And I had to do a lot of melody writing as Sheila and I were writing the complete, the level 8 supplemental workbooks and the entire series for that matter. We had to do a lot of thinking and a lot of learning ourselves in order to become the authors of this series. So thanks for joining me today. Sheila McKibben-Uren is so gorgeous. Yes, she is. Brenda, thanks for mentioning Miss Sheila, Madame Sheila. I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to share this. We love to share, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day. Happy melody writing.